The following is a pre-recorded conversation between two siblings and is filled with personal opinions and biases. It should not be taken seriously by anyone. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to another You Don't Make Friends with Giant Squids podcast. I'm Squid.
And I'm Jaxxon.
And today we're discussing Jersey Boys.
Jersey Boys! Woo! This was my pick.
Yeah.
The last one was also my pick.
So, why'd you pick it?
Honestly, it's just been in my head these last few months. Like, I saw Jersey Boys early on in the pandemic, and it was such a treat and such a surprise. I enjoyed the crap out of it that I can't get Sherry out of my head.
I thought you didn't like musicals.
I love musicals.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. Like, not musicals, but like movies about the music industry. Like, you didn't like A Star Is Born.
Oh, I hated that movie.
Yeah, right?
But that's also because Bradley Cooper's doing an impression of, what's his face? Sam something, the mustache dude. He's literally doing an impression of that actor.
Yeah, but I mean, there's A Star Is Born, and then the Queen movie came out, and then there was also the...
that was also a bad movie.
But it wasn't a bad movie. It was an okay movie. And then there was...
nothing cool about Freddie
the
Mercury's
Queen
life in there.
Yeah, there's a Queen movie, and then there was the Rocket Man movie, Elton John.
Oh, I didn't actually see that one, so I can't judge that one. But A Star Is Born, I hated.
So what? Why did you like Jersey Boys and not A Star Is Born?
Rags to riches, back to rags. Like, I loved how, I don't know, authentic they felt. They felt like these random dudes from Jersey getting famous because, I mean, they hustled hard, and then it all kind of fell apart.
Yeah, it did fall apart. Okay.
And I hated Stars Born because it's a chick that gets discovered by a man and has to be only once a dude told her that she's worth something.
Then she's worth something.
Yeah, and then it's like, I don't know. I feel like we've seen that story before. I don't want to see it again.
Well, the whole point of A Star Is Born is that it takes a look on the industry at like different, like, because there's all those remakes of A Star Is Born, right? So each one is kind of like the industry in a little capsule at that moment in time. It's the exact same story in each Star Is Born. So it makes sense that you've seen the story before.
I would rather have seen Lady Gaga's biopic. I would have rather seen her do herself. I would have rather seen a dramatized version of how Lady Gaga became Lady Gaga. I would have rather seen that.
You know what's really funny? Every time she went on interviews, people were all like, so it was like you, right? The whole story was like you? And she's like, no, I was acting. I was the actress. She's nothing like me.
You're like, of course. She's just like, everyone just assumes that she hates the way she looks and that she hates her nose.
Yeah, or
and
that she's like
stuff.
like
she loved working in drag bars and shit. Like,
yeah, it's like for some reason they were always like, come on, tell us how close this is to your real life, and she goes, well, I'm not this character.
You're like, she hustled herself.
Yeah,
like she was told no a billion zillion times.
Yeah, that her voice was too operatic and that she didn't have a face for pop and everything that she wanted to do, but she wanted to sell out arenas. She was a totally different character than what she was playing, so I just thought it was funny in all of her interviews. They were like, so, how close to life? She goes, this is a character that I'm playing.
Like, I was acting.
It's this thing called acting.
I'm an actress now. Actress. See.
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, you get on Bradley Cooper.
I know. I loved
his marriage is in trouble.
Okay, this is the reason why I'm bringing it up. I absolutely adore A Star Is Born. Jersey Boys was all right.
It was all right. That's it.
The thing is, I just don't like the whole mafia thing. It's not my thing.
That's funny because I'm deep in Sopranos right now, and Sopranos does a lot of nods to Frankie Valli, and like the guy who played his dad is Bobby from the show, and then there's like another woman on the show. I forget her name. I had the name. She plays his mom, and she's also on Sopranos, who also hates the mob. Like, she plays the same character. Where she's like, I don't want you getting involved with those people. And I don't know. It's just I'm very charmed by the Jersey.
I can't stand the Jersey. I can't at all.
This is my favorite sweater. It's very Jersey.
It's not like the aesthetic or anything. It's just I don't like the personality. I don't like the mob mentality. I don't like, I don't like the whole like, because there's a scene, right, in Jersey Boys when he's in the back of the bowling alley, right, and he's picking up pins, and then all of a sudden someone knocks him down. He starts yelling at him like, ah, and I'm like, Mom, you know how funny it would be if I went to a bowling alley and I knocked down some pins. It's like, what, you got a spare? What are you doing here? Hey, and all the pins talked back at you like that.
Well, you know what? It's also funny is because that character is Joe Pesci.
Yeah, I don't really know who Joe Pesci is.
Home Alone.
I haven't seen Home Alone in years.
Goodfellas.
I haven't seen Goodfellas in years either.
Jesus Christ. So you wouldn't even, like, that just went poof for you.
Right over my head.
But I thought that was amazing because Joe Pesci's this little Italian man known for, like, being angry and yelling at stuff. Like, that's why it's funny that Joe Pesci, like, being the one who introduced the guys, and it's a true story. He's the one who introduced Frankie Valli and Bob together to create the Four Seasons.
Yeah, it was just kind of one of those things where I thought that was funny. I thought that there were bits of the moment of the movies that was charming, like Christopher Walken's character.
Oh yeah,
like he's Christopher Walken no matter what he does.
See,
he's just Christopher Walken. He's not an Italian mob boss, Christopher Walken. He's Christopher Walken, and he's never anything but Christopher Walken. So that was a nice like breather. But I'm not about the Jersey vibe. I'm just not. It's the I think it's like the laid back Californian in me just can't handle all that extra. I just can't.
It is extra, but I find it entertaining. It's not.
I like extra in a different way. I don't like that kind of extra. To me, it's cabbage.
Cabbage?
Yeah, you remember from South Park? You calling me cabbage? I call you cabbage. You know when Kyle who was all Jersey Shore, they started calling each other cabbage all the time.
You're like, it's a Jersey thing.
It's a Jersey thing. You wouldn't understand. So I'm like, yeah.
That's why I thought you would so enjoy.
I didn't at all. I mean, it was nice, and the music was nice, and every now and then there'd be a song like, oh, I know this song. I'm like, is this them too? Because I wasn't sure, because there was like the girl group that came up, right? And they were singing like the my boyfriend's back and you're gonna be in trouble. Ooh, my boyfriend's back, you know? And I was like, did they write the song? Why is this in here? I didn't understand why they just randomly showed three girls singing, you know? And so I kept asking Mom throughout the movie, I'm like, did they do this song? Did they write this song too? Is this a real song or is this just like a soundtrack song? So I couldn't figure out what was them and what wasn't.
Well, the majority of the songs that the group sings, I mean, those are all their songs.
Well, obviously, if he's singing it himself, it's the group. But I mean, like, there's just a couple
of the background songs too that was also them,
right? So like, I would hear a background song and I'm like, is this them? I know this song. Is this them? And I would turn to her and she'd go, oh, what are you talking about? I don't know, no. Didn't say anything to me. I'm like, fine, then just don't listen to me.
That's because she barely remembers yesterday.
Thanks. Barely remembers yesterday. Yeah.
But yeah, I love all those songs. Like I think my favorite song right now is the Dawn one where it's saying like Dawn go away. Like Dawn go away. I'm no good for you. Like they were singing that song at the country fair, like that one scene. And that was my favorite. That one's my favorite song right now, besides Sherry. But Sherry's been stuck in my head probably since the pandemic happened.
No, I think that the end song that he sings after his daughter dies. The one with like the orchestra and everything.
Big band where he finally got his horn section.
I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright. I was like, ooh, I love this one. I remember when I heard that one, I was like, that's him. That's a pretty legit song. That's a good one. So with me, it's like more like, oh, I've heard that. I'm not saying that the guy didn't have any talent or anything, or it just also the movie felt very stage performing, which I know it's based off the play.
Yeah, it's the play Jersey Boys.
But with movies, you're used to like a low and then a climax, and then right at the edge of the climax, all of a sudden the movie stops, right? So with theater, it's more like there's a climax and then it comes down. You have that like soft landing of like that big number. So that's what the movie felt like. So it's like once we had passed the climax, I was just sitting there waiting for the movie to be over.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I do enjoy. I enjoyed the ride.
Yeah,
I liked the ride. It felt very stagey, especially at the end, where then all of a sudden they all come out and they're singing to camera and everyone comes.
Really freaked my shit out when they were just talking at camera.
That's because when they interviewed everybody, all the guys of the Four Seasons, it's because they all had different recollections of how shit went down, especially Tommy. Like, his doesn't match most of what everybody else said happened.
Yeah.
So they're like, that's how we structure this Broadway musical. Like, we're going to do an unreliable narrator. Everyone's going to talk at camera, like, or talk to the audience, straight to the audience.
First off, I'm not really a fan of talking straight to camera. I mean, I get it, because interviews are really cool, but I would have rather had it be like a secondary interview where the person was like establishing talking to camera, you know, instead of it being like a randomly they're in the middle of a thing and then they just turn to me and they're like, so you want to know what happens now? And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I love it when you break the fourth wall.
Not breaking the fourth wall is fine, I guess.
I love it. I prefer it over voiceover.
I prefer breaking fourth wall over voiceover as well, but it's still not one of my favorite narrative devices. Nah, especially not with movies about like true movies based on real life.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if I wanted to see people talk to camera, I'd want to see the originals in like a documentary format.
I don't know. I thought it was fun. That's why I picked it.
Yeah. It was all right.
Sorry. Hi.
It's all right. I mean, it's not my type of people. It's not really like, you know.
Boo. I was hoping for more of you loving it.
Loving it.
Yeah, because I love this movie.
Yeah, well, what do you love about it?
I love everything. I love the actors. I love how the main actor, John Lloyd Young, is the lead in the Broadway play.
Oh.
That's his voice. All of them. I didn't even realize it was Clint Eastwood who directed this until...
No, Mom kept saying that immediately. Look, it's Clint Eastwood. You see that? You see the production company? That's Clint Eastwood.
That doesn't help.
That's Clint Eastwood.
He might have be like, oh, is someone going to talk to a chair in this movie?
But it felt very spaghetti. The thing is, I can't stand spaghetti westerns.
Oh my god!
I can't. It's like one of the main reasons why I don't like Star Wars. It's because it feels like a spaghetti western in space, and they don't really have substance, and everything's long camera angles and very slow. It's like somebody comes up to the thing, so it's like it's not very dramatic, or they bore me. So whenever something's done in that style, I'm like, okay, here we go. I gotta hunker down and watch this movie because it's gonna happen to me, whether I like it or not.
Okay. Well, I guess let's go through a summary of the movie then.
Yeah.
It's about the formation of the Four Seasons and Frankie Valli, pretty much, played by John Lloyd Young, playing Frankie Valli, also plays Frankie Valli in the Broadway show, because his voice is just that good.
You know, I watched some actual performances, like the old school ones that were like in black and white and stuff, and the actual Frankie Valli.
He's so tiny.
He had such distortion in his high notes. It was crazy. Because the actor that they have playing, because you mentioned it's his voice, right? When he goes up there, it's like, ooh, ooh. It's like very pure, like, tone. And then the one we saw was like, ah! It had like that distortion in it when he went super up high, and I was like, ooh, it gave me goosebumps. I liked it. I kind of like, I see that he has a really good voice and everything, but I kind of wish that I had heard the original,
First?
The original, like, voice box or the original thing when they're, like, because, you know, sometimes they would use the actual songs performed by Ricky Valli instead of the actors.
Selena?
Yeah. So I kind of wish that, like, because then when you're watching it, you'll fall in love with the sound and the performance of it. But, like, literally hearing that distortion on that high note, I was just like, damn, that was nice. And his tone was very, very clear, but it's not that.
True. He does do that at one point in the sound booth when they're pissy about being backup singers for people, and then he just kind of screams into the mic. And I was like, damn, look, he's got a better voice than the girl that they're backing for.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be super, super frustrating if that was, like, real. But that's also, you know what? It also felt like, I don't know why it felt like that, but when he was first performing, and, you know, Christopher Walken's, like, crying because he sounds like an angel. He's doing some things with his voice, and he kind of sounds a bit pitchy. And I don't understand if it's that he's being pitchy or if that was just the style of runs that they did back then. Like, I don't have enough knowledge on music, so the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, how much of this is mistake and how much of this is homage, you know?
True.
So, like, I was also thinking about that while watching it because, you know, I wasn't really paying attention to the story. So I ended up getting stuck on the most random things. Like I said, like the bowling alley pins, being like, hey, you gonna knock us down, bro? You couldn't give yourself a strike? What is this? I would honestly pay money to have my bowling pin stuck back to me like that. Hey, you knocked out Frankie. What the hell? Yeah.
I swear, you really deflated my balloon.
I'm so sorry. It's just because I normally love musicals and I love like Singing in the Rain, fucking like White Christmas, like all the Disney movies music. I love all musicals, but this one was all right. I mean, I've seen better. I've seen better. What are they called? Docu somethings when they're biopics. I've seen better biopics. Mm. Celine is a better biopic, in my opinion.
Well, yeah.
You can't say, well, yeah.
I mean, we've been watching Selena since we were little. Like, we have a huge bias.
Maybe that's also another thing, is that I was going in thinking it was going to be like a 9, and when it was just like a 7. I mean, a 7's still a good movie. It's a movie that you wouldn't be mad about paying for if you went to see it in theaters, right?
True.
But it wasn't one where I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna listen to these songs over and over and over and over and over again. Except for the last one.
I listened to all of them over and over and over again. Although I don't really like Walk Like a Man. I like big girls don't cry. Like that's so great. Mm-hmm. Like they're all so catchy.
Oh yeah, they're super catchy songs. It's just that I also feel like with biopics where they can kind of like go off the rails is that they get so caught up in following the lifespan that you never really get the story.
True. I feel like that's kind of what I liked about this movie, though.
Really?
Where they didn't dramatize. I mean, it's dramatized because, you know, it was a play and it's a movie.
So obviously it's going to have liberties taken.
But I like that it felt like someone's life.
Okay.
I like that. And the fact that for most of the movie, he's just sad. Like, Frankie Valli's sad. He worked so hard. Like, he's the only one left working at the end. Like, everybody else, like said, fuck it. Like,
I think that Frankie, though, is also a workaholic.
True. I mean, by the end of the movie, he said he's chasing the music. Like,
yeah, like, there was an interview I found on YouTube with, like, a direct interview to the guy, and he was kind of, like, talking about how there's 2 different processes about creating music and then performing, and he says he enjoys performing as much as he does creating music. To him, that juicy creative juice thing that happens when you're creating a song and all of a sudden the notes hit just right and you're like, oh, this melody is nice, you can kick in, and it's like that moment where everything comes together. He gets that every single time he performs because he's a singer, so he's an instrument. Mm-hmm. He's used to honing the instrument and playing in the notes and living in the songs. So for him, performing is something super juicy, like, and the adrenaline hit you get from performing is like drugs. There's a reason why, like, people do it. It's amazing. Like, performing's awesome. So it's like there's a reason why he's able to continue working like that. I wouldn't be like, oh, poor Frankie.
I am poor Frankie just because he's working to get out of a hole.
But he took on that himself.
Yeah, which is stupid.
I was so shocked that he did that, but I mean, he was abandoned by so many people that it makes sense that he would cling to the one person
who didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jersey Boys, about a bunch of boys from Jersey.
That's your song.
Now, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, how they got together, pretty much their struggles of, you know, being born on the rougher neighborhood in Jersey, and how they kind of rose to stardom, and then how they couldn't handle it and everyone broke off and went about their own ways, and the movie then ends with them, surprise, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because you've heard their songs guaranteed. And like how Tommy said at the beginning of the movie, it's like when you're born in that neighborhood, like you either get mobbed up, you go to the war, or you get famous. Like that's pretty much your 3 options.
I don't understand why you can't just move.
Well, you can't just move?
Yeah. If I was in contact with the mob, though, and I was like being forced to do stuff to make me go to jail and things that I didn't want to do, I'd get out. I'd probably go to Canada or something. Canada. You don't need anything but the clothes on your back. That's true. At the end of the day, even just moving from Jersey to California, they probably would have gotten far enough to where the person wouldn't follow them.
It's true, but you're also speaking from someone who's not had experience being in like associated with a mob and that being all you know, you know?
You mean like being scared of being let go?
Well, and also leaving everybody that you know behind. And I mean, you only know as much as you know, and you are coming at it from a different life experience.
I also don't like to be trapped. It's like one of the things
too.
I absolutely hate. So there's no way I would ever be trapped somewhere. If I realized that I might have been trapped, I would have just escaped.
I think you would have been one of those ladies where you're just like stay away from those men, like gabagool.
Gabagool.
They say that on The Sopranos. I think it's a type of meat or cheese or something. I don't know. I swear.
you don't-
I love Italians.
So you don't know what it is.
No.
And you know I don't watch The Sopranos. And yet you're going to use that on me.
Fun for me.
Okay. All right, then. I mean...
Because Tony just always goes like, let's just have some gabagool. Stop. Like, some kind of, like, I imagine the sandwich was pastrami or something, or like a pasta of some sort.
pasta?
Some kind of food. some yummy, delicious food that I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Because it always solves their problems. Let's just sit down and eat. Which, cool, can get behind that.
Yeah. Sit down and eat.
But, yeah, that's what the movie's about. Based on a Broadway play that is based on the real-life story.
Frankie Valli.
Frankie Valli. And the guy who wrote the the music for both the movie and the screenplay for the Broadway show, like it was Bob. Like he did it.
Oh.
Bob, the really
Bob.
tall white guy.
Yeah. Bob.
And yeah. Well, I mean, Vincent at the end when he's all old and shit, who looked amazing in old age makeup, like Vincent, the gangster one, the one who was really wanted to be in the mob.
You know who he reminded me of? When's the last time you saw New Girl?
Long time.
Well, he looks like Russell from New Girl to me. Like, it's the same, like, forehead and eyebrow shape.
Who's Russell?
Russell, he's the old guy that Jess dates for that little bit.
I do not remember.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture. Yeah, they look so similar. I was, like, staring at him the whole time being like, you know who he reminds me of? And the actor was pretty cute that played him. I thought he was pretty cute. It's like, because he would smile and I'd be like, I see.
You're like, daddy issues.
Daddy issues.
Because he's old.
He's not in the beginning. When they're the Vincent.
Oh, I thought you were talking about New Girl.
No, I was talking about
that
Vincent.
guy.
I'm like, Vincent, I thought the actor that played him was pretty cute.
And I'm like, yeah, New Girl's got daddy issues.
Oh, man. This is going to be a long one, isn't it? Not even on the same page.
So, the movie starts off, we first get Tommy's perspective, which is he's the gangster of the group. Kind of like older, more... like kind of like an older brother to Frankie. Like in this neighborhood, he's very much, if you're a Sopranos fan, you're not, but if you are a Sopranos fan, he's kind of like Christopher in the beginning of Sopranos, where he's trying to get in with he's it's almost like he's like a greenhorn, pretty much. So someone who's trying to get in, hasn't proved themselves yet, like, and gets shit on by pretty much anybody who's the mob boss, which is, you know, Christopher Walken.
Yeah, I like Christopher Walken. He was cool.
He was so good as the mob boss.
But he's just Christopher Walken. That's all he is. He's Christopher Walken, but being Christopher Walken.
You know that Jip's family came up to them when they were writing the Broadway play and was like, we need to make sure
That is Christopher Walken.
No, the representation that you're giving our family is up to our standards.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that kind of might have been a reason why Christopher Walken didn't go as Walken-y as he could have.
He was still pretty Walken.
He was Pulp Fiction, watch Christopher Walken, not Peter Pan Live Christopher Walken, you know?
You know what?
Like, there's a spectrum of Walken,
There
and I
is.
think...
You know what I said to Mom when we were watching it? I'm like, I think that Christopher Walken went too deep in Deer Hunter and never came out.
Never came back.
He never came back. He never came back. He went too deep in the role for Deer Hunter, then that was it. And then we have current Christopher Walken as he is today.
And that's totally fine.
Yeah.
So I would say point for the movie, Christopher Walken.
Yeah, that's a definite plus.
And I think with the first start of the movie, it's so unfair how, like, pretty much it's you know those and when you go into a store and there's just the revolving door of shit, like the fact that jail is like that for Tommy and Nick, they weren't doing shit. Like, yeah, they did steal a safe.
Yeah.
And everyone told Frankie to go home. For one, that's not fair. He was there. He was the driver. But he's such a little person, I guess. And everybody knows his mom. And they're like, still like...
No, because that was one of the things. Is I said, like, when I was watching the movie, I'm like, I think that because everybody knows him as a wannabe singer, right? And they break into a church. And they use the organ to be
sing.
Like, yeah, to sing and to be like, okay, know that this is C minor and this is C major. It's like if I was the cop on duty, I would have just like performed for the nun, taken him out. Oh, I'm gonna arrest you, and then just let him go. Because I'm like, come on, kids. Like, I get that you're broke and you can't afford your own piano, but don't break into places.
Yeah, well, that was so mean. How is the nun gonna do them like that? Like, these are kids from the neighborhood. These are children.
Well, I feel
singing in the church, and it's like. Then they arrest Nicky, like, and he goes in for breaking, and then tell Frankie to go home.
Yeah.
Like, that girl was there too.
Yeah.
Like, if everyone's going to jail, then everyone's going to jail. That's just, it's not fair. And I feel like it's because, I mean, since you've seen a bunch of videos with Frankie Valli, like, he's a tiny dude. He's not imposing, you know. And the fact that probably his mom is imposing.
Maybe.
Where they're just like, isn't it past 11? Aren't you supposed to be home? That's your bedtime?
Yeah.
Like,
well, he was also like 16, right? 17?
Yeah, he was pretty young.
Yeah, he was super young. So I think that it's just like a whole thing of like, he's a young kid getting involved with these assholes that they want to keep locking up.
But even then, I mean, like, they're really stupid assholes. Like, putting a safe on the back of the car that weighs less than the safe.
Yeah.
Like, that scene I thought was hilarious, but it's also, these are not masterminds that they're working with. Like, they're going to jail for 6 months, like with that judge. That's not something that should have happened. He read off his rap sheet, and it's like, oh, well, here's another 6 months to add since you're a bad egg, you're a bad kid. Like, I don't know. That rubbed me the wrong way, which is what happens. So it's like, it just doesn't happen so much to white-looking people.
Yeah, that was another thing that, like, super bugged me in the movie, too. Or, like, watching the interviews, is that the white male reporters were just such assholes. And they didn't give a shit when they were talking to him. And then when Bob came out, like, the writer, they'd be like, oh, yeah, this is a good-looking guy. This is a nice guy, because he's, like, straight white.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, man. Just the way that the difference in how they treat the two of them was just so...
Which is funny, though, because they never really let anybody know. Like, they came off very clean cut to the radio DJs, to all those, to the record labels.
I think that's, it's like that moment in the movie when they first meet the flamboyant gay guy. He's like, well, back then...
There was something off.
Yeah, there's something off about him, but back then, like...
Liberace.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. It's like, you know, there's something spicy about them, but you don't know what it is.
And he was amazing. I was like, look, just strut your stuff. Strut down that hallway. Who gives a shit? Like, dude,
like,
you do
let me
you.
guess, Scorpio. I was like, yeah, that's right, Scorpio.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Scorpio. They're gonna bite you. But yeah, it was that was something that I found was pretty true about the Jersey neighborhood and sad at the same time. So. Didn't too much care for that.
Yeah.
Revolving prison door. Prison doesn't help anybody in general.
Yeah, but I mean, they were just a bunch of punks.
True. And then the system's profiting off of them by putting them in jail.
True.
And then we see that scene after Tommy gets out and Nick goes back into jail. Like, Tommy gets out and he's like, you know, I'm not a really good singer, talking to us. Like, which is, I love that attitude of him turning to the camera. Like, I'm not a good singer. Like, I'm making an executive decision. Like, Frankie's now in the group. Like, you mean the kid that really can sing, the entire talent? You're making a decision.
Oh, you mean when he first brings him up on stage for the first time?
No, like, just later after he gets out of jail. Where he's just like, because he really wasn't part of the group. He was more the little kid that they're bringing up on stage so he gets some chops of being on stage and stuff.
You mean Frankie?
Yeah. That's kind of like how they played it off. That he's singing with them on stage, but like he wasn't really part of the band in general.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't get that at all.
No?
No, it was more like because he was being favored by Christopher Walken, right? And it seemed like gangster dude only cared really what was important in mob status. So it's like if you had higher status, you could get away with anything, which kind of felt like his character was. Like, he thought he was higher than everybody else, so he was being an asshole. So, but Frankie had boss's favor because of his singing chops. So he's like, I'm gonna get this little kid up on stage. I'm gonna have him sing.
That too.
I'm gonna have him do stuff because this is the end goal. Because if he's singing with my band, I will also get that kind of favoritism.
I think, yeah, that definitely played into it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, when you think about it, no one else valued anything else that Tommy brought to the table. Like, the only thing he succeeded in was being a hustler. But
you kind of need that hustle, especially when it comes to the business side of things. Like, obviously it tanks towards the end of the movie because of how big his deck fucking got.
Yeah.
But at first you need somebody to be the asshole. You literally need somebody to come in and be like, you can't step on me like that, because there are people that can't. Like, there's people who can handle guest services and there's people that cannot.
See, that's what he said. That there's all these different people trying to fuck you 5 ways from Sunday.
Yeah, it's like, you think you can handle that? Because that's dirt you gotta track through.
Yeah.
And it takes a certain kind of person that can handle that.
Yeah. And the rest of them were so much more clean cut. I mean, Nick was dumb. I mean,
I don't know who Nick was.
Nick was the one who said he wants to go home. He's the Ringo of the group.
Yeah, because I know there's Frankie, who's the main guy. There's Bob, that's the writer. Then there's the gangster, and then the quitter.
Nick. Yeah, the quitter. like, what do you want? Like, why'd you quit? He's like, well, I've said it out loud, and that's it. Like, it was true. I found out it was true in my heart. I wanted to go home. Like, aw.
Yeah.
The fact that he told his kids that he's Uncle Steve.
He was, like, looked down on
the
entire time. Because he didn't really bring anything to the table.
Yeah, he said it out of the 4 guys, he's Ringo.
Yeah, but the thing is, I wouldn't mind being Ringo. Honestly, if I got to be around that much talent, it would just be like, hey, guys, I'm here.
Yeah, but he's also too dumb to see the opportunity,
from being Ringo?
Yeah. I mean, instead, he's getting the ego, like, hit instead, because he just knows enough that he's not the best and really that they could change him out with anybody.
I don't understand why everybody's so obsessed with being the best. I think you should just be yourself.
Yeah, I mean that I can't argue with that. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, just be yourself.
Just do what makes you happy.
That's
if
very true.
you're not happy anymore, then don't do it.
Then don't do it. Yeah. Life advice from Squid. His white ass girl from Cali. If you don't like something, don't do it.
If you're stuck in a neighborhood with a mob boss, just leave.
So simple.
It's so simple. Just leave.
Okay,
guys, it's time for Me Likey, You Likey. So, Jaxxon, what do you likey?
I guess I shall go first, since you can never go first.
Nope.
Because that is the way of things. Mm-hmm. And things of way.
That is how things are. I never go first, because I say Me Likey, You Likey. If you introduce Me Likey, You Likey, then I...
Even when I introduce it, you then say, no, it's not.
I gotta get in for you.
But then I even got it in a few times before you, and you were just like, no.
Nah. We looked at the tape, and I obviously had come in just a nose ahead.
Said the one who edited the tape.
Well, I mean, the survey says, I came in first. So.
Okay.
So what do you like?
Well, actually, my likey is food related.
You have a lot of food related likes.
I'm kind of obsessed with food.
Gotcha.
Makes sense. Since my first word was cookie, and then I danced for chicken. So, as a small child, they should have known better.
That you were gonna fall in love with food.
That I was gonna be someone that they needed to watch.
Gotcha.
But you actually saw me eating it earlier. My likey is my protein breakfast cookie dough. It is so good. I love eating cookie dough straight out the tube, straight out the making,
Straight up
out.
cookies dough is good.
I like it. I actually honestly like it more than cookies. I like the dough better, which is not good for you because it's got, raw flour and raw egg. But now that I'm vegan, I can eat cookie dough, but then the cookies don't get made because I made vegan cookie dough to make vegan cookies, and then I eat the dough before I make the cookie. So,
but it should be safe because the whole reason why you're not supposed to eat raw cookie dough is the egg, right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying is I now have no excuse to not eat the dough.
Oh, you were looking for excuses.
I was looking for a reason to not eat dough.
That makes sense.
But because dough is just so high in fat, so high in carbs, it takes all my macros away for my training and in general. So I had to create something that was macro friendly, and I use my vegan Wonder Shake protein powders and only a little bit of oat flour and dairy-free white chocolate chips and cranberries to make a protein breakfast cookie dough with dates.
Man, your palate is so much different than mine.
But it's so good. It's so sweet.
Because I think that you've hacked your palate now to where all of these you're tasting the. It's like when I stopped eating sugar for that month, and then I had a carrot for the first time, and I was like, shit, the layers of flavor in a carrot,
And you're like, they taste sweet.
Yeah, they were so sweet. I couldn't believe it. And now when I eat carrots, it's almost like I'm eating a shadow of the god carrot. It's like I had a bite of a god carrot, and I'll never be able to reach that high again. But I think that's where you're at right now. You've hacked your palate, and now all of this stuff that you're saying, because to you're like, oh, it's delicious, and it's this and it's that, and inside my head I'm like, that sounds like it would taste like sawdust.
But honestly, a lot of protein powders do taste like sawdust. But I found a brand that's really low in calorie.
That's all that matters.
And they're so tasty.
Right? Finding that one brand that's your favorite, that's the perfect thing. That's one of the perks of being an adult.
See, of buying what you want.
Yeah, buying what you want, finding out what it is that you like.
See, and I actually didn't realize I had a sweet tooth until I had deprived myself of sweets for 7 years, and then realized, oh no, you can have sweets. You can have sweets and be even more fit than you were. I went, what? What? And so, yes, that is my likey because I'm eating pretty much guilt-free protein cookie dough.
Nice.
In my favorite cranberry white chocolate flavor. You just saw it. I had it for lunch.
You were just eating it.
So good.
Cool.
Now, what's your likey?
I'm not sure if any of our visual listener or if our audio listeners would be aware, but our visual audience will see that there's a new microphone.
See, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I just bought it. The thing is, though, I was listening to some of the audio during the break, and I might pick up another one because this microphone is like the HyperX. It's the Quadcast microphone, and it's like one of the best USB mics.
Quad.
It's Quadcast because of where the microphone itself picks up sound. So it's like you can do just one. You can do like 2 sections. You can have it be like everything. It's like there's a lot of things that you can do to it. But when I was listening to the audio, we're super clear on it. But I kind of miss how it sounds when you get like super close to it. Because I think this just sounds juicier. I might pick up another one.
Yeah, but we've already experimented with it, and you got real close to it with me having headphones on, and it grossed me out. Like
I liked it. I like the juicy sound. I think with podcasts it sounds better when it sounds more intimate when you're closer to the microphone than when it's something that's
right
like
now. You
far
just
away.
reminded me of a Wawanisa commercial.
A what?
Wawanisa. It's like we are the quietest podcast. And like that is literally their commercial idea, and it bugs me. Like my brain goes, no, I don't like it.
But
I don't like you whispering at me.
I'm not talking about us having a whisper podcast. I'm just saying I think that it sounds better when me and you each have a designated microphone than having one that like fills the room. So I might pick up another one. So there might be another one in future podcasts.
Oh my god! I just think that you can't help yourself.
I can't. I think we talked about this earlier. I pick up production equipment like how you pick up workout equipment.
Yeah.
Just randomly, now we have a light box, and now we have a new thing, and now we have a new this, and now we have a new that. So yeah. But hey, I liked it so far. It's like a nice mic. I really like it.
I like it.
And it's got like the LED and everything.
I like the light.
I know. It's super nice. Thank you for listening to another You Don't Make Friends with Giant Squids podcast. I'm Squid.
And I'm Jaxxon.
And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye. Hey everyone, it's Squid. Congratulations on reaching the end of the video. I just wanted to thank our patrons for supporting us this month. If you want to become a patron, or if you want to find out more information about future updates or past projects, please follow the links below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.